Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to From the Depths with me, Zicargo. We're here chilling under the watchful eye of the Overseer Capital Class Carrier. This thing, I'm pretty excited to be showing it to you guys today. This is the largest ship in my fleet, probably will be the largest ship in my fleet. It's coming in at 982,000 materials. I know it's not super massive, but for me, I prefer swarms of smaller craft to supermassive stuff. I don't exactly know where to start, so I'm just going to pick something and go from there. Taking a look at these little sea turtle legs. I don't know. From here, they kind of look like sea turtle. We'll call them sea turtle legs. Each turtle leg is about 82,000 materials, and it's got 25 of these simple weapon 130s on it. And these are each firing these disruptor EMP shells, so these reduce shield strength to 85%. Basically, that means it's a 15% reduction in current shield strength. So with 25 on each one, we fire 50 of these. I'm not going to run through the math on that. Anyway, here's the main laser block. It uses 39,000 engine power and sustains 23k. It's at an AP of almost 76. Real quick, if you're not familiar with lasers, the thing to know about lasers is that the amount of damage that they deal and the amount of energy that they spend are not directly related. So a laser system will always spend the same amount of energy, but the amount of damage it deals is based on how full its capacity is. So what we've done here is we've used an output regulator to make sure that we stay at like 99% energy. We never drain below that, and then we just blast away with maximum firepower. And this leads us to about 20,000 DPS. So taking a look at the turret structure here, I've turned our weapons off so that we can hear ourselves think, or so that I can hear myself think. We have basically a whole chunk of heavy armor with some surge protectors here. And then we've got a 5-meter turret right in here. And then on top of that 5-meter turret, on either side, we have the laser weapon split into two. So a right side and a left side on two separate turrets. I didn't have to do this. I could have had it all on one, but I just found that this was, you know, sturdier and more redundant. And redundancy is usually pretty good, especially when you only have one weapon. Making sure that that weapon doesn't get taken offline, I find, is usually pretty important. So let's talk carrier functionality for a second. If you've watched my channel for a while, or you've seen my adventure mode back when I was much worse at editing, recording, and FTD, then you know I have done full carrier stuff in the past. I have chosen not to do it for this particular design. So in terms of armor, I didn't really set myself a specific target for armor. What I ended up doing is kind of encasing most of the functional components in 2 or 3 layers of either alloy or stone. A little bit of metal mixed in here and there. I like the craft to be pretty buoyant and pretty fast, so I've been avoiding a lot of metal for some of my larger builds here and focusing a lot more on alloy. This thing has a ridiculous amount of HP. It has many internal walls. It has open spaces. It has a lot of layers. I was very concerned with getting the thing to look how I wanted it. I kind of just built hull off of the initial aesthetic that I had. And so this thing is incredibly tanky. It's also covered in strength 6 shields. It also has smoke, which for lasercraft is sometimes a little dangerous, but if I can find one of them here, just to show you the smoke bubble. They're all placed pretty low down into the craft, so that hopefully they won't stop the thing from shooting its laser. So it should be ridiculously durable. And also, since it's a carrier, it's got repair capabilities and stuff like that. We also got detection with inter-vehicle transmitters. These are pretty decoed out, and you'll have to let me know what you think of these detectors. So it's a turret with a bunch of detections on it. There's a couple of spin blocks here to make sure that everything like works, so that you can stack the same detectors on the same heights. Not real ERA. It's all deco ERA. Speaking of decoed detectors, I found that the aesthetic of some of the randomly placed detectors didn't really work for this. So there's a lot of hidden stuff. Like if we go over here, there's detectors hidden all over the place, covered in either metal or something else. We got all of our laser warners, ammunition warners and stuff. Those are all decoed out to look like these eyes that you see placed all over the vehicle. Got a whole bunch of them all over the place. So yeah, there's a lot of deco work that's gone into this one. Let's talk defensive shit for a second. So it has a huge gantry, dropping sonar target simulators with ballast tank. Ballast tank takes it down pretty deep, way deeper than any of my craft currently operate. And then this lasts for 160 seconds, and it fires this on cooldown, which is every 20 seconds. So as this thing fights, it's going to fill the ocean with these massive sonar decoys, and hopefully torpedoes should be fairly distracted by that. We've also got a pretty powerful set of ECMs inside. I think I've got 5 of them, all at like 30% chance to cause a 5-meter error, something to that effect. And then we've got this aerofoil. Now, aerofoils look cool, and they have the unique property of anything you put an aerofoil on generally looks cooler. So that's why we have an aerofoil here. This aerofoil does have a secondary purpose. Take a look inside. We've got a radar decoy on one side and a heat decoy on the other. Of course, I cranked the strength of these so that hopefully it absorbs most missiles. I didn't crank the power to a ridiculous extent because I find one of the things with large craft, enemy damage has a tendency to get spread around big parts of the hull. So this thing has most of this thing's main body is kind of an empty shell of 2 or 3 layers of metal, and I'm really okay if that takes damage. So I didn't want to focus everything on this decoy, but I definitely wanted to just have a couple points to draw enemy fire. The decoys are higher than the turret, so hopefully if there's any missiles coming, they won't be coming from, you know, basically sea level. They'll be coming from a little bit above, and they'll go over the turret or past it. We'll have to see how that plays out. I might need to make it a little taller, but currently I like how it looks, so we're leaving it. I want to talk about these doors, okay? Check this shit out, okay? This is the sexiest thing I have ever seen. Look at that. You can even see the inner workings here. We have a piston. We have control blocks. We have a panel. All of the doors are on the same button. I did I did consider making the ACBs hidden all over the place, but nah, I like this. I'm quite happy with how these doors have turned out. But other than that, I was trying to think of things to talk about. This really is, on its face, a bit of a simple-ish craft. I mean, it's got disruptor EMP guns that fire at a target to disable its shields, and it itself is a tanky hull with a lot of defensive stuff and a big, powerful laser. It's honestly not that complicated of a design. It's just big, and I think it's pretty. You guys will have to let me know. I'm a big fan of these little spikes. I don't know what they remind me of, but I just felt like these... I really wanted to make these whole front turtle-like things work. And they needed something, so I thought of these spikes to place on it. And it reminds me of something. I've definitely seen something like this before. I haven't been able to place it. So, yeah, I was thinking about this craft and about how what I was going to spend the time in the video talking about, and I kind of discovered that overall this craft is pretty simple. It's a big laser with some other stuff. So that's kind of it for what I've got to show you guys here on YouTube. We'll be bringing this into the campaign very, very soon. I know there's been a bit of a break, but basically I did this thing where I played way too much FTD too quickly. Now don't worry, because I have plenty to show for it. Just a quick look-see at some of the things that we've got completely ready to go. We've got a new main battle tank. We've got another cruiser to show off. We've got 2 more boats. This one's mostly just a logistics vehicle. And then I've got 2 submarines to go over as well. This is the stuff that you've got to look forward to coming up. Oh, and then we've got another airship. A full proper airship. Where's it at? So yeah, I've got a few episodes coming up. I think a few of these are. I think we're gonna wrap this all up in 3 or 4 episodes of Zicargo's Garage, and they'll be coming out soon. So thank you all very much for your patience. The Overseer Capital Class Carrier. This is kind of my crown jewel. I think this one in particular, we're gonna set a completely separate goal. This one goes up on the Steam Workshop if the channel hits 500 subs. Everything else will keep going with our normal. I've been keeping it at about, hopefully, like a number closely rounded to approximately 20% of the channel. We're just gonna keep that target in mind for everything else. But this thing is special to me, and so it's gonna get a special goal. And the goal for that is 500. I'm hoping to hit 500 by the end of the series. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you like this craft, because holy shit, if you don't, that's unfortunate, son. Because if I could make everything look like this and function like this, I really would. Anyways, that's all for me. Thank y'all for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Very soon. Not like a month from now or a couple weeks from now. Like, probably later this week with the next episode of Zicargo's Garage. See you later.